You know, our world feels like it's shrinking every single day. And because of that, we're going to challenge the very map we use to understand culture. But here's the thing. What if that map is just completely wrong?
I mean, look at this. Thanks to technology, we can see images like this from literally anywhere on the planet in an instant. But, and this is a big but, seeing isn't the same as understanding, right? Are we truly connecting with each other, or are we just, looking at a picture? That's really the core question we're digging into today.
And that question of understanding, it's more urgent now than ever before. So to really get why, we've first got to wrap our heads around just how quickly our world is actually shrinking.
And look, these aren't just some big abstract ideas. Globalization, that means your company probably has a team in another country. Social media, your friends list probably spans continents. And migration means your own neighborhood. It's becoming this incredible crossroads of the world. So these intercultural encounters, they're not the exception anymore. They are the new rule. This is our everyday reality now.
And hey, this isn't just some far-off global thing. Just look at this statistic for the United States. By 2042, the whole idea of what a majority even is, it's projected to change. It just goes to show you these massive cultural shifts are happening right in our own backyards. It makes being able to communicate across cultures a fundamental life skill, not just some nice to have.
Okay, so to navigate this new reality, we first have to unpack the old, and let's be honest, often flawed mental map that we all carry around about culture. This right here, this is probably the classic textbook definition a lot of us learned in school. It kind of treats culture like this neat little package, all tied up with a bow and labeled by country. French culture, Chinese culture, the whole deal. It's a simple, tidy way to look at the world for sure. But is it really accurate? I mean, think about it. Is a person from Paris exactly the same as a person from Marseille? Is a 20-year-old tech worker in Shanghai the same as a 70-year-old farmer from a rural province? Of course not. The second you look a little closer, that tidy little map just starts to completely fall apart.
And this is the exact shift in thinking that we need. We've got to move away from that old, frankly, torn-up map, the one that sees culture as fixed and national, and switch to a new compass. This compass sees culture as something fluid, personal, and just one of many influences, like your job, your hobbies, even the online communities you're part of, that all come together to make you who you are.
So here's the bottom line, the most crucial point. Culture isn't in your DNA. It's not. Think of it more like software that's constantly getting updated through your experiences, your interactions, and the world you live in. It's learned, not inherited. That changes everything.
So what happens when we cling to that old, rigid map? Well, we start putting people into boxes. And that's where the real danger lies.
I'm sure you've seen charts like this before, right? These are those frameworks, a lot of them from the work of Geert Hofstede, that try to classify entire nations on these spectrums, like individualist versus collectivist. They're really an attempt to take something incredibly complex and make it simple.
But here's the really important question we have to ask ourselves. At what point does a helpful category become a harmful box? When does a general observation cross the line and turn into a rigid, damaging stereotype?
Well, this leads us to a really critical error in thinking called essentialism. This is that dangerous belief that if you're from country X, you must behave in way Y. No exceptions. It takes a complex, multifaceted human being and just boils them down to a single, unchangeable cultural essence.
And right alongside that is something called reductionism. That's when we just ignore all the other parts of a person's identity, their personality, their choices, their unique experiences, and we reduce them to nothing more than a national caricature, a cartoon.
The scholar Adrian Holiday just puts it so perfectly. He says, the stereotype becomes the essence of who they are. Think about that. When we rely on these old maps, the stereotype doesn't just describe a person, it becomes the entire definition of who they are in our minds. And that is just a profound, profound misunderstanding.
Now you'd think technology would be the solution here, right? That it would expose us to all this amazing diversity. But ironically, it can do the exact opposite. It can actually lock us even deeper into these outdated ways of thinking.
And it happens through a really simple but incredibly powerful loop. Step 1, you search for something. You click on something you like. Step 2, the algorithms are watching and they show you more of the same. And step 3, well, before you know it, anything different just disappears from your feed.
This is what's called the filter bubble. It's your own personal, invisible echo chamber.
It just keeps reinforcing what you already think you know, which makes it incredibly difficult to stumble across genuinely new or challenging perspectives about other people and other cultures.
The amazing novelist Chimamanda Adichie gave this whole phenomenon a really powerful name. She called it the danger of a single story. And that's exactly what happens. When our filter bubbles constantly feed us the same simplified, stereotypical story about a place or a group of people, we risk a massive critical misunderstanding.
Okay, so how do we break free from all this? How do we navigate this super complex world more effectively? Well, we need a new tool. It's as simple as that.
And the key is to just ditch that rigid, outdated map of cultural rules. Throw it away. Instead, what we need to do is equip ourselves with a dynamic, flexible compass, a set of skills and attitudes that can actually help us find our way in any interaction with anyone.
So what does this new compass even look like? Well, it has three really essential parts. First, there's knowledge. And that's not just about other people, it's about understanding your own cultural lens too. Then you've got skills, things like empathy and just good communication. And maybe most importantly, you have attitudes, like curiosity and openness. You know, that genuine willingness to be surprised and to learn.
All right, so what can you do, like, starting today? First, go into conversations trying to understand the individual, not to predict their behavior based on some stereotype. Next, just suspend your judgment. Practice active listening, really listening. And finally, be alert to your own filter bubble. Actively try to poke some holes in it by seeking out different points of view.
And all of this leaves us with one final question for you. Think about it. What's a person, a place, or a group that you might only have a single story about? Now, what's one small step, just one, that you can take this week to find a second or even a third story and make your own mental map of the world just a little bigger, a little more complete,